Hey guys, welcome back to Underneath the Bodhi Tree. I'm so excited that you guys are here joining me today because we get to talk about something that I have just been really dying to talk to you guys about. I want to share something with you, and I think this is going to be the biggest difference in terms of helping you to actually wake up and wanting to live your life instead of wishing you were somewhere else. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the law of attraction. The law of attraction, the way that we know it, the way that we throw this buzzword concept around, we think it means it's something that we can do, where we visualize something that we want in our life and then poof, it just appears. Do I want a Lamborghini? Poof, there it is, right? We think that's what the law of attraction is about. We think it's for people who want materialistic things, for people that want to just, without any work, bring things into their lives that make them glitzy or glamorous. It really isn't about any of that. In fact, the law of attraction and our ability to manifest has everything to do with this universal principle about something that's hidden inside of us. Now, if you're feeling stuck in your life, if you feel like you see this huge gap between where you are and where you want to go, between what your reality looks like now and what you want your reality to look like, it's because you don't understand this fundamental principle about what it means to be a creator, what it means to have this divine spark that's running through your blood. It's in your blood, it's in your DNA, it's in your cells to actually create. Now, I'll come back to this in a little bit because that's just something that I'm super passionate about. But today, the video that I'm creating for you is all about the key to making law of attraction work for you. The key to helping you to get unstuck if you've been feeling stuck. Now, that key, in order for you to understand what it is, I'm going to ask you to actually take your phone and I want you to walk me into your bathroom. And I promise it won't get dirty. I promise it won't be weird. But take me into your bathroom. I want you to set the device aside for a second and I want you to take a look at the reflection that you see in the mirror. Don't tell me what the color of your hair is, what you're wearing, what the color of your eyes are, the shape of your lips or your nose. Don't tell me any of that. Instead, I want you to look directly into your eyes, and I want you to see behind those eyes. And if you do it with enough intention, if you do it with authentic intention, you'll catch a glimpse of who's actually behind there, of who is in here. So really take a look. And if you want to do this exercise after the video, that's perfectly okay too. But when you do, I want you to really take a look at what's inside. Because that part of you, the truest, most purest essence that makes you who you are, is the key to making the law of attraction work. And the reason why manifestation or the law of attraction doesn't work for a lot of individuals is because they don't understand that they need to connect to this part first. And so, my dear friends, the most fundamental thing that you need to know about the law of attraction is that it really relates or it taps into the universal principle of the superhuman, the divine God spark that is inside of you. And that creative spark that's inside of you needs to be turned on and needs to be activated in order for the law of attraction to work. What that essentially means is that you need to be living a life from a place of alignment. Are you living a life in alignment? Alignment means so many different things to many different people. However, when we boil down alignment, it's, do you walk the talk, right? Are you authentic? Are you coming from a place of integrity? Do you know who you really are inside? And are you expressing that part of you? And the reason why a lot of us don't tap into this, a reason why a lot of us don't live from a place of alignment is because we're scared. And that's completely okay because that's just how we're wired. Our human brains are wired to actually want to be accepted, right? This is why we want to belong to groups and communities, and we're searching for this thing called a tribe. It's because thousands of years ago, our ancestors, if they belonged to a group, if they belonged to a tribe, a community, their chances of survival actually went up, it increased. However, if you were an outcast and you were rejected by your group and you were alone and on your own, your chances of survival actually significantly decreased, which is why it's actually just wired in us. It's our primal DNA that tells us that we need to belong to a group. However, when we can actually address that part of us that has this need to be accepted and understand that actually social rejection, your brain, your body registers that as a physical pain. If you can understand those two things, and if you can understand that you go beyond being accepted into a group for survival, then you can begin to face the fear that comes up when we are asked to be authentic. When we are asked to be authentic, it means we need to be vulnerable. It's just part of the programming. And the thing about vulnerability is that the way that society has taught us, it's something that's a weakness in people. When we see people who are vulnerable, they are weak. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, let me tell you a story. So when I went to Columbia for my grad program, I had a professor named Lisa Miller. I don't know what just got stuck there. And Lisa Miller, I am so honored to have crossed her path. I'm so honored to have been in her classes, to have been on her research team, because she is such a beautiful, powerful soul that taught me what it means to give myself permission to be me. Now, I remember going to her classes. This was my first year at Columbia. And I remember every single week, whenever I went to her classes, she would break down and cry. Initially, that turned me off. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be honest. Initially, that turned me off because I looked at her and I said, what's wrong with her? But she would break down and cry every time someone said something that was moving, someone said something that was touching, inspiring. And the thing is, the way that she stood up there and she owned it and she was able to give herself permission to be vulnerable, to be herself, to be authentic, it gave me that space to question whether that's something I wanted to do as well. The way that she allowed her heart to be moved, the way that she allowed herself to truly experience this life in the way that she did is something I will never forget. And she is probably the reason why I started on my path towards this, I guess if you want to call it spirituality, my path back to myself. So being vulnerable requires us to face this fear of, oh my God, are we going to get rejected? But if you understand that it's just the way that you are wired in your DNA because of primal reasons, that you are no longer in a place where you have to worry about survival, then you can face that fear head on and you can choose to be vulnerable, which is required in order for you to be authentic. Now, being authentic requires you to tap into the part of you that's really you. But do you know who you really are? Do you know who you are outside of your stories, outside of your expectations, whether they're from yourself or from other people? Do you know who you are underneath those masks? Do you know who you are beyond the expectations, the roles, the labels, the categories? When you learn to tap into that part of you, you are in a place of alignment. You can live your life from a place of alignment. And the easiest way to do that, to get to the part of you that's really you, is doing an exercise like we did at the beginning of the video. Or you can actually do something that, let me back up a little bit. Science and research has actually shown us that when we connect this to this, we develop something called a mind-heart coherence. And when these two sync up, when they're in harmony with one another, they are cooperating with one another. We do things like reduce stress, reduce anxiety. We increase our ability to focus. We are better at problem solving. We are We have better well-being. It's just all around really great for us to work on connecting these two things. But the reason why I'm talking about this, the reason why I'm telling you your heart, science is actually showing that your heart is 5,000 times stronger than your brain. Like 5,000 times stronger than your brain. So the fact that society, education, people around us have always taught us to be stuck up here and not be tapped into here, it means that we have allowed ourselves to give our power away. If this is 5,000 times stronger than this, why do we stay up here? So anyway, when we connect these two things, we have a mind-heart, brain-heart coherence. And science is beginning to find that when we do that, we elevate ourselves. So you, my dear friend, are just a rod of an electromagnetic field. This electromagnetic field at any given point in time spreads about 3 feet around you. And the thing is, even if you were blind and deaf, if I were to step within your presence in that field, your heart actually, through an ECG, we've actually found that your heart actually registers the presence of someone else. Isn't that insane? So we are energetic beings that create this experience that we call life through energy, through electromagnetic fields, which means that as a magnet, you are pulling in the things into your life, into your awareness and your experience, the things that you are setting the intention to create. However, you cannot set this intention to create without the key. So this key, which is tapping into who you are, being in alignment with who you are, is almost like it starts the engine to this vehicle that we call the law of attraction. Without this key, you can't start the vehicle. And the only way to access this key is to know who you are, which means you are living in a place of alignment. So alignment requires things like being vulnerable, being authentic, harmonizing, being in harmony, co-creating, being in coherence with who you are inside, not up here, not the stories, not the expectations, not the labels. So the key to making manifestation work for you is to be in alignment. When you are not in alignment, you cannot create in the way that your soul, your essence, the divine God spark intended you to create. And the key to tapping into the truest, most purest essence of who you are is to go through here. Your heart is the bridge to your soul. There's a reason why in your heart there are things that you want, things you don't like. There's a reason why we call this the intuition, right? It's when you're intuiting, you are tapping into the part of you that is sensing energy, not logically trying to make sense of things. And when you are sensing energy, you are tapping into the universal law of how this world was even created. And how else can you more easily create the life that you want? Through here, not up here. It's great to set goals. It's great to understand and learn from others that have come before us. We stand on the shoulders of giants. I understand that. It's all great to want to learn different strategies on how to X, Y, and Z. But what's greater than that is to know how this world was created, to understand, like with wisdom, understand, feel what it means to be superhuman, to have a superpower, what it feels to actually be able to tap into that creative source and to create the life that you really want. And the only way you can do that is if you're in alignment. Now, one of the more elementary questions that come up when people start discussing manifestation, law of attraction is, well, if it really was that easy to just picture what we want and we have it, like, wouldn't everyone be millionaires? But that couldn't be farther from the truth. What I want in my heart, that's true, is not going to be the same as the things that you want in your heart. In fact, I don't want to be a billionaire. I don't want the Lamborghini. I don't want all the flashy things. That's not what I'm about. But for someone else, they might want those things because luxury is important to them. There's no right or wrong here, folks. But the thing is, because we all want different things, when we're in a place of alignment, we can acknowledge that. Then it's not like we have limited resources where everyone wants a Lamborghini now and everyone will manifest a Lamborghini. It just doesn't work like that. So when you're living in a place of alignment, the things that you create, things that you draw and magnetize into your life are the very things that your soul wants, not what this up here wants. It took a while for me to understand that too. Because for a while, I tried to use the law of attraction. I tried to manifest things into my life that I didn't even really want. It's just things that I thought I wanted. And then they came into my life and I went, I don't even want these things. So if you're feeling stuck, if you are not happy with where your feet are planted, if you find yourself wanting to be somewhere else more often than where you are currently today, you want to create a life that's different from the one that looks like now, it's because you haven't found that key to start the vehicle of the law of attraction. And the only way you will access this key is to go through here. That is the bridge to your soul. When you go in here, you begin to align your heart and your head, which creates what scientists call the coherence. But then you begin then to remove all of the barriers that have been in your way in manifesting and creating, because you're in your element, you're in your power. I hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to post a comment. If you have any comments or feedback on this topic, what this has been like for you, what resonates, what doesn't, I'm going to ask you guys, please hit the like and subscribe button because it helps other people like yourself find videos like this. Thanks so much, guys. I'll talk to you later.